Good evening, everyone. This is Henry Gambell with simpleroptions.com, and in tonight's free video, I wanted to cover two charts that I think are getting ready to make new highs. Now, one of them will be a new lifetime high, and that's here in YY. Before we get too far down into the analysis, and I should have started with the daily work first, but it's to point out that when you look to this daily chart, you could look to it and you might be able to make an argument that against these previous swings, swing high to swing low, from that move that we have made some extensions, which would be a fair argument. But if we're going to focus on trend trading, this is a completely mature bullish trend. Also notice how the decline that preceded the rally had a very close relationship to the decline that we have just finished going through. We pulled back, took a week and a half or so to digest that move, and now we're back on our way. Why is that interesting? Well, because if the decline you saw here is exactly the same decline you saw here, what's to say the run that preceded it will not be the same thing? Followed it, excuse me. It's basically just seeing the repetition of those patterns and trying to work them into their next extensions. So you may look at this and say, okay, it held symmetry, that looks good. We would play for a trade up into the 1272 extension of this move. Just, buy it and sell it on a pop to new highs. What makes this more interesting is that if you do step back to something like your monthly chart, well, then you can very quickly see that the lifetime high here is 96.39. Don't be trying to buy this at 96.39. Work on accumulating the position in here, risking down into about 86 or so, and then trying to sell that not just at the extension, but on the push to a new lifetime high. So these stocks have been kind of hot. I think this is another one to focus on. And while it is by no means a new lifetime high, I am looking for a new intermediate high in crude oil based off of very similar concepts. And you can get down into a more detailed analysis of this using just the front month contract. But look at very similar concepts of saying the decline that you saw here is very similar to the decline that we went through here. You can see this spent some time consolidating, chopping around a little bit, and then ultimately our daily squeeze gave us a nice run into higher prices. This strikes me as being very similar. So as we get into Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, of course, you may see some trade kind of like this, but be willing to give the squeeze a couple of days to consolidate, test your moving averages if needed, and then I'm going to be looking for a push back up above our swing high here, and then ultimately a move up around 56. So that's what I'm thinking as we wind down this week. I hope the analysis is helpful. Have a great weekend, and we'll pick all this back up on Monday.
So we are going to be doing an earnings class, and in this earnings class we're going to be talking about a couple different things, but namely the plays for runs into earnings, day of earnings, and then of course what happens after earnings. Now that tool I just showed you is an integral part of it, but there's another tool I want to show you as well. But just so you guys cut to the chase here and you know what's going on, and if this is something you're like, wow, this looks fairly interesting, because nothing beats math. You can use your opinion and guess and things like that too, but when you have the math to work with and then you're able to back test it, it trumps everything. And that's what this opportunity is. So the class is going to be on Saturday the 21st. And for those of you that know the CML backtester, we're going to have Ophir join me on that class. And we're going to go through specific backtesting sessions that you can essentially box up the strategy that's going to work best for an earnings trade. It's not to go over all the different cool things that you can do here, but essentially the short version is you can sit there and say, okay, if 2 weeks before earnings on Google, I bought a Delta 40 call, how has that worked out of the last 10 times? And it'll show you exactly how it worked. And then you can go in and tweak it and find the best, or was it a Delta 20, or was it a Delta 50, or would have been better to sell a put spread, or all that kind of stuff. And then what happens is you can match the right option strategy to that stock. And on top of that, you can use the data in this tool from Eric to maximize it. So I'm super excited about it. And on this Saturday, we're going to be diving into that in terms of the strategy class. The professional package is going to include 3 days of live trade, or actually more than that, 5 live trading sessions where we're going to be trading not only the big name stocks that you guys are all familiar with, but keep in mind that there's a lot of low-hanging fruit out there in the stocks that nobody really pays attention to. Okay. And then that tool I just showed you from Eric, that's included in this class, which is pretty awesome. The Elite package is essentially also includes a 6 months membership to our Gold membership plan, which includes text alerts, a live trading room, a forum, nightly videos, and essentially is a way to kind of join the community and get trade alerts and help all the time. So anyway, this is going to be a lot of fun. Let's take a quick look at the highlights here. So on this strategy class, and if again, you just go to simplertrading.com/quarters, you can read all about it. How to trade option position sequences instead of rolling the dice on a single position, how to exploit earnings reports on these under the radar stocks, how to trade, oh, that one's in there twice. It must be really good. Rookie mistakes to avoid if you're new to trading earnings volatility. Like some of the worst things that you can do, we'll just kind of get those out of the way. And then we're also going to be talking about things like if you've got a small account and you're looking to grow it rapidly versus wanting to take advantage of earnings to create income, okay? And on and on and on. It's going to be a very, very powerful class. And to give you an idea of the CML tool, if you haven't seen it before, you can also, not only can you do this with earnings plays, but you can also back test our own squeeze indicator on this. For example, it'll say, hey, if there's a squeeze, and you buy a Delta 90 call on Microsoft 30 days before, you'll get an 81% return and you win 10 times out of 2. Okay, and this is very valuable information. You can do the same thing with these earnings plays, which is so valuable. So with this strategy class, the 497 class, it comes with a lifetime discount to that CML tool. Okay, so that's an important piece of the puzzle. If you're just by going through that link, you'll save thousands of dollars over the course of a multi-year subscription if you choose to stay with it. Of any tool that we've found out there, this is something that pays for itself pretty much quicker than anything I've ever found. Okay? Anyway, good stuff. Again, simplertrading.com/quarters. Looking forward to seeing you guys at the class.